After a thrilling walk-off victory on a bullet line drive base hit by Giancarlo Stanton, the Yankees try to make it 3 consecutive victories against the lowly Baltimore Orioles. They will turn to Jordan Montgomery, who is having a very nice season on the mound as they look to climb the American League East standings and cut into the Rays' lead while simultaneously extending their wild card lead. In this episode, the lineup and starting pitcher for tonight's game, a quick recap and some main takeaways, and your fan reactions. I'll be your host, Derek. This is NYY Recaps Yankees Game Night Live. The Yankees try to make it 3 in a row against the Baltimore Orioles today. DJ LeMahieu back in the familiar leadoff spot at second base this afternoon. Joey Gallo really slumping badly. He is in left field once again in the number 2 spot, trying to get him some good pitches in front of Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, who is currently batting over 300 with 30 home runs, is in right field this afternoon. Giancarlo Stanton had a big night last night, had the home run and a walk-off base hit. He is your DH this afternoon. Anthony Rizzo will be at first base today. Luke Voit gets the day off. Brett Gardner is your center fielder this afternoon. He is batting 6th. Kyle Higashioka is behind the dish. Gary Sanchez, struggling, gets the day off. Andrew Velasquez, Bronx native, is at shortstop this afternoon. And Tyler Wade once again gets the start at third base. Gio Urshela gets the day off. And on the mound, Jordan Montgomery. He is 5-5 on the season. That is not indicative of how well he has pitched. He has made 24 starts. He's got a 3.52 ERA and a 3.2 wins above replacement. He very well could be the Yankees' number 2 pitcher in a playoff series. He's got 130 and 1/3 innings pitched, 126 strikeouts, and an impressive 1.189 whip or walks and hits per innings pitched. It's time for Gumby to do his thing. Let's get it on.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight.
How did a game in which the Yankees got 3 hits take 4 hours to complete? Rob Manfred punching air right now. Yankees went with a surprisingly weak bottom half of the lineup today. Sanchez on the bench to begin the game. Voit on the bench to begin the game. Urshela on the bench. Torres on the bench. Yankees almost seem to be saying, we're going to rest some guys, and if we win, that's great. And if we don't, that's fine too. Again, no run support for Jordan Montgomery. Both offenses were quiet early. Monty worked into and out of trouble in the second inning. DJ LeMahieu made a great play on defense in the third. I love it when someone on defense throws out a runner from their knees. Pure arm strength right there. Montgomery served up a bullet double to Severino in the top of the 4th to put men on second and third with 2 outs. Orioles get a run on a wild pitch. Monty got into some more trouble in the 5th, but Clay Holmes came in and got out of the inning with a nice backdoor sinker. He had a really good day. I have to admit, the Park for Holmes deal is looking like a good move at this point. And I never said that Park was going to be a stud, but I would have preferred to see him get a chance with the Yankees beyond that one at bat. But I'm glad that trade seems to be working out for the Yankees. Final line for Jordan Montgomery: 4 2/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. ERA down to 3.47. Again, no run support. In the 6th inning, Holmes apparently pitched pretty well. I missed most of it because I had what I'm going to henceforth refer to as the lizard incident. So I'm going down the stairs to make a cup of coffee, and I see something flapping around in the corner, and it looked like a snake. And I had just seen a post on Facebook about a snake being in my neighbor's house. So I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I've moved to a place that has snakes. And after a few seconds, I noticed that it actually has arms and a head. So it was just kind of this big, fat, pregnant maybe lizard. And my cat was standing over it, toying with it, and it was injured pretty badly. And my cat's just looking at me like, come on, Daddy, unleash the dark passenger. And I probably could have grabbed it with my hands and pinned it in retrospect, but I don't want to touch some fucking lizard. So I opened the door and I tried to like hockey slap shot this slithery motherfucker out with a hat. And, I took my shot and it disappeared. I didn't see if I got it or not. I couldn't find it in the house. I didn't hear it hit anything. So I'm assuming my shot on goal was good. Orioles got a couple of more in the top of the 7th while the Yankees were still looking for their first hit of the game. Yanks do get their first hit, a pinch hit infield single from Gleyber Torres in the 7th. That scored Anthony Rizzo, who had reached on an error. Voit bounced into a double play to end the inning. Gallo comes through in the clutch with a porch job, a 2-run home run, 31st of the season for him on a line drive bullet to tie the game at 3. Orioles load the bases in the 9th, and there was a strikeout. There was a wild pitch. There was a base hit. It was just not a good inning for Chapman. He threw a ton of pitches, ends up serving up a sac fly to Severino. Orioles go up 4-3, and they hang on to win 4-3. Really sorry day for the Yankees, losing to a 92-win Orioles team and getting just 3 hits in 4 hours. THG says Derek has a harder slap shot than Shea Weber. I'm like the Happy Gilmore of slap shotting, whatever they're called, lizards. Ruben Cruz says this offense continues to struggle on Monty starts and in day games. Appreciate the dono. Cruise control. You're not wrong. I really feel bad for Jordan Montgomery because he's pitched well enough to have a lot more wins than he has. And I know that wins aren't a super important stat these days, but it's nice to see 15 wins and not 5. I eat grass with the $5 chatless dono. Appreciate that. FG says this game was badly managed. I feel like from the outset, that was too weak of a lineup to put out there. Brett Gardner batting 6th at 211. Kyle Higashioka at 7th, batting 179. Velasquez batting 8th, 220. And then Tyler Wade, who was actually hitting decent, 282 coming in. But he hasn't played much lately, so you can't expect him to be hot. I just feel like it was too many guys at getting the day off at the same time. Day game after a night game, I get it. September, I get it. The show 24/7 says, why does this team make every pitcher look like all-stars? Yeah, weak pitching, they make look really good, and it's been a constant theme throughout the season. We've seen this a number of times this year, just bad pitchers coming in and shutting down the Yankees. Today's loss was very reminiscent of some of the earlier losses this year where the offense was just dead, where I'm sitting there thinking, how is Marcus Tim still the hitting coach on this team? What is the philosophy that's leading to these guys struggling so much against this team, against this type of pitcher? It was just a awful performance. Yankees for life apparently paid to see this performance in person. That sounds like an L to me. Ruben Cruz says, Monty should have 12 to 14 wins by now. I agree.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And look, I know wins are not what pitchers are judged on, but you just feel better about yourself when you see a bunch of wins racking up. And he's continued to pitch well. But I also think the fans would, give him a little bit more credit if he continued to rack up wins rather than if he was 5-5. Cruise control. Jay Garcia says the starting lineup today was set up for a no-hitter. Gardy, Higgy, Velasquez, and Wade all together in one lineup. Yeah, I mean, that's what we were just talking about. That's just a really weak 4 in a row. I mean, if you're going to do that, at least mix in somebody down at the bottom. Maybe, scoot Rizzo down a couple of slots. Really, it's not even that. It doesn't even really work. I mean, that still is a weak, because then it's, you don't have to pitch to Rizzo because you got weak guys. But I just think it was a bad setup, badly put together lineup from the get go. Let's see here. E says Gallo batting 2nd, explained in the previous video. So the reason I think Gallo's batting 2nd is because I think that the way Aaron Judge has been swinging the bat of late, you want to give Gallo some protection. Make sure that he sees better pitches, you know? If they're walking him or striking him out, force them to not put guys on base for Aaron Judge. Force them to throw the ball over the plate to him. And unfortunately, Judge has not hit well in the last couple of days, so it doesn't really help too much. The Brio Gijo says Gallo doesn't even like batting second, and they bat him second. It's pretty dumb. I mean, where are you going to hit him? And first of all, I don't care who likes batting where. I don't give a shit what you want your place in the batting order to be. That's not your decision. Your decision is to go out there and play ball. Your decision is to do your best wherever the manager puts you in the lineup. He hits you ninth, you do your best. He hits you first, you do your best. Second, third, doesn't matter. But the fact that they move the lineup around every day can't be helping these guys. It can't. I feel like you get into a rhythm being in a certain spot in the order. I mean, it just might be my opinion. But, you know, you see guys do hit better in certain spots. Rosa Henriquez says, Chapman's inconsistency is killing me. Why is he still the go-to man in the ninth? First of all, don't know hype. Rosa, that's a great question. The thing about Chapman is that he makes a lot of money. So, and he's also very particular. He's been a closer for a long time. So, to move him around in the 7th, 8th, or whatever, it doesn't seem like something that the Yankees want to do. I don't have the answer for it, but right now, you don't have a lot of go-to arms. Chad Green's been okay, but somewhat inconsistent. Jonathan Loaisiga's been great, but he served up a run last night. Clay Holmes has been pretty good as of late. I just feel like everybody in the bullpen has been really inconsistent. Chapman, for one, has always struggled with command. Always. So I just have never been a fan of Aroldis Chapman. Unhinged Yankee says the unstoppable Baltimore Orioles. It's unbelievable that the Baltimore Orioles can beat the Yankees. And I know in baseball, any given day, any team can beat any other team. But this is unacceptable. Ronnie says lots of flyouts and pop-ups. Homer or nothing mode again. During the win streak, it wasn't like that. We can see that, and they can't. First of all, don't know hype. However, I will say this. This was not a home run or nothing lineup. I mean, you had Gardner in there. You had Higashioka and Velasquez and Wade. They just didn't do anything. None of those guys had hits. Rizzo didn't hit. I mean, from Judge through the bottom of the order, none of the from 3 through 9, none of the starters had hits. Torres came in and got a pinch hit for Velasquez, who was in the 8th spot. But LeMahieu had 1 hit and Gallo had 1 hit, and that's it. This game is squarely on the offense. I still think you've got to take a look at Marcus Timms in the offseason. What is he teaching? What is his philosophy? Are we trying to make too many adjustments during the season? I don't know. The Wicked 50 Cal says, the lineup was doomed to fail, but to be fair, the Orioles' crummy starting pitching we are playing, we should have been scoring a lot more against them, and I agree. You've got to do better against the Orioles. You cannot lose games at this point in the season to the Baltimore Orioles. I'm sorry. They're just too bad, and the games mean too much at this point. The division is likely over. I mean, we said that a few days ago. When the Yankees were 8 games back, it was pretty much over. Or 7 games, whatever it was. They're not going to outplay the Rays that much going forward. You still got a shot. I mean, but the way this offense has, now that you have pretty much everybody healthy, gone back into a slumber, I mean, you can't ignore that trend. Maybe their Death Star lineup just sucks. Maybe that's what it is. The bro Gijo says it's pronounced Gijo. And I love your show, bro. And you're a poet, and you didn't even know it. Appreciate it. Jose A says the Yankees should bring back Chris Chambliss. Yeah, Chris Chambliss was a great hitting coach. I appreciate that.
Yes, I agree.
Scott O says Yanks make another pitcher look like Cy Young with Ellis looking like a stud. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised at this point. It's been happening all year. Yankees make bad pitchers look good. It's almost like they take for granted that they should beat some of these bad pitchers, and they let their foot off the gas. And then before you know it, it's the 6th inning, and you're down 2-0, and you have 0 or 1 hit. I'm really surprised the Yankees have not been no hit as a team this year. I just don't get it. Lori C says, they get healthy and they stop playing small ball. What happened to all the steals and a few bunts even? Well, as for the bunts thing, you typically, you've seen the Yankees try and bunt for a hit a couple of times in recent days. You saw Gallo try it the other day. Odor tried it the other day. But typically you don't bunt unless you can get men on base. The Yankees didn't have a whole lot of guys on base today. I mean, how many walks did they have? They had 4 walks and 3 hits. So they had 7 base runners. I don't know how many of them were with 2 outs. But you really can't bunt without men on base unless it's for a hit. And as for stolen bases, I mean, one of the hits was a home run. Gallo didn't need to steal any bases. The other one, Torres, he had guys on in front of him, so he couldn't steal. Not that he would. He's not that fast. And LeMahieu picked up an infield hit. I think that's all you're getting out of his wheels. But I do agree that I wish the Yankees would get back to that high-energy brand of baseball. And Edward Edgy agrees. 3A Cubing says the Yankees are so inconsistent, they sweep the Red Sox one day and they lose to the Orioles the next. That's the theme of this year. Yeah, they change it up pretty much every day. They change their lineup every day. They change their approach every day. And it's been rough. It's been a lot of ups and downs. This is why I was saying tap the brakes on that 20-game win streak when we were at, 7, 8 wins. Because you could see the same inconsistencies even during the win streak, right? I mean, they were still winning, just squeaking by and winning low-scoring games. They were winning by 1 run. And you knew that there were 1 or 2 bounces or bad pitches away from losing a few of those games. And so I knew they weren't going to get to 20. But I'm surprised at how quickly they've fallen off. Jordan Thyler says they have to go over the luxury tax and change this team next year. I don't necessarily think you need to go over the luxury tax. I'm sure they might. But I'm kind of against signing any big free agents this winter. You do have some impact guys. Justin Verlander coming back. I think you could see him on like one of those Kluber-type contracts. He'd be somebody that I'd be willing to pay for because the upside on him is really high. I don't think they're going to go out and get a shortstop like a Correa or a Seager. I just don't see it because they have Volpe and Peraza. We talked about it. They just drafted Sweeney. Roderick Arias, the guy they're about to sign, is a shortstop. And I know these guys are a few years down the road, some closer than others, but I don't think they need to spend a ton. They just need to reconfigure a little bit. I think they need a new hitting coach. I think they should spend on a new hitting coach is what I think. Yo Elvis wants Gardner to retire. Amen, brother.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, Gardy, 0 for 3, now batting .211 on the season. He's played better on defense, but again, he still chases that high fastball, and he can't do much with it. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a little early today. That was not much to talk about. That was a rough game, and my wife and I are going to have a movie marathon this evening, so I'm going to call it, and I appreciate it. Yankees play tomorrow, 1 o'clock, and then Monday against the Blue Jays at 1 o'clock. I will be back hopefully tomorrow and Monday. We'll see what happens. I'll see you next time. Special shout out to the Patreon supporters and anyone else who has supported this channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it the old thumbs up and subscribe for more Yankees content year-round. If you really enjoyed it, check out the Frieze. It's the official podcast of this channel. Or pick up some swag from the Teespring store, link in the description. Thanks for watching.